What's up, everybody? I just ate a really good mango, so I'm in a really good mood. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do Paschimottanasana. Paschimottanasana means intense stretch of the west, and the breakdown is the Paschimottanasana comes from the word Paschima, which means west or back of the body, Uttana, which means intense stretch, and asana or asan, which means seat or pose or posture. So altogether is intense stretch of the west pose. Now, as with many of these poses, because they're thousands of years old, the reasons behind why they were named a certain name can be largely contested. But what I was able to find is that traditionally when yogis would practice this pose, they would do so with their backs to the west. So the sun is rising in the east and their backs are to the west. Now, the main benefits of practicing this pose is you'll get a nice stretch of your back body, of your back muscles, a lengthening of the spine. You should also feel stretch in your hamstrings, your calves, your legs in general. You should also feel a gentle stretch of the nerves that run down your legs. So your sciatic nerve runs down your legs, your legs and into your feet. So it's common to feel a slight tingling when you're performing this pose. So let's get into it. So to do Paschimottanasana, you want to be in a seated position, your legs out in front of you, about hip width distance, your big toes pointing up toward the ceiling. Sit up nice and tall, chest lifted. And inhale here. And exhale, reach your hands toward your toes, keeping that chest lifted, a nice easy bend in your legs. And on your next inhale, come up. And then exhale. Once again, inhale here. Exhale, reach toward your toes, keeping your chest lifted. Toes pointing up. Inhale, come back up. And then exhale. Now, a couple of key points here. You want to avoid rounding your back when you're doing this pose. I've seen before many round their back, and they do so because when you round your back, you're able to kind of reach forward a little bit more. So then you're like, I've reached my toes. I did it. I'm doing it. But when you're doing this pose, you want to keep your chest lifted, which will then basically make it so that you have to engage your core a little more as you're reaching forward toward your toes. So then you'll get that core engagement, and you'll also feel the stretch a little bit more in your back body, in your back muscles. And you should also feel it a little bit more in your hamstrings. But whenever you round your back, you kind of you're not really engaging those muscle groups as much. And you can try it. Try rounding your back and reaching forward, and then try keeping your chest lifted and then reaching forward. You'll notice that it's a little bit harder to do this pose, and that's good. You want to feel some level of discomfort in any pose, but you don't want to feel a lot of pain to where now you're no longer focusing on your breath. Remember, the breath is essential to every single pose that you do. So once again, sit up nice and tall, toes pointing up. Inhale here. Exhale, reach forward, keeping that chest lifted. Go up to your threshold, and then back up. Take a couple of breaths here in Paschimottanasana, intense stretch of the west. On your next inhale, come up. And then exhale. So that's how you do Paschimottanasana. I hope this information was useful to you. One of the things that I forgot to mention earlier, one of the benefits of this pose is whenever you're bowing in any kind of pose that you're doing, whenever you're bowing, you're lowering yourself essentially. It puts you into a state of vulnerability, of surrender, and of humility. I think it's essential that we practice surrender and humility every day of our lives. Whenever we come to the mat, I think it helps to bring that gentle approach to your practice, because so much of our lives are go, 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 and push, 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 get the goal, do the thing. And yoga really, for me anyway, is again about slowing down. It's about being kind to yourself. It's about progression. That's why it's called a practice. So once again, I hope that this information was useful to you and in your practice and in your journey. I'll see you again next time.